everybody to the GAA Healthy Club's initiative here. This is Naomh Mairtin Football Club from Monaster Boys on the East Coast in County Louth. You're very welcome. Today we're going to do 3 very quick recipes from the book that you see here. Recipes for Success. We're going to begin with the very first one, which is 2 very healthy salads. The first being a brown rice salad. Sounds a little bit not so nice, but you know what? There's a purpose for all these well-being healthy salads, and we're going to make it absolutely delicious. So let's look at what we need first, guys. We obviously need brown rice. Now brown is a healthier option than the white rice. Not such an amount of starch and carbohydrate in it, but more so carbohydrate with the added fibre in it, which is really good for your stomach here. So what are we going to flavour that? We're going to cook that for 20 minutes, by the way. Normal rice takes about 12 to 15 minutes. This takes a lot longer, 20 minutes, so you need loads of water for it. And I like to put a stock cube in there as well, just to flavour it up a bit. When that's done, we're going to cool it down, we're going to drain it off, and we're going to add all the beautiful ingredients here that are not just healthy, but fresh, and that'll make that salad excellent. So let's have a quick look. I've got fresh coriander here. Now listen, I'm not going to go plucking for fresh coriander herbs everywhere, so I like to use frozen coriander that's pre-chopped. I also like to use diced onions, diced chili, diced garlic. Much handier when you know you're not going to be wasting half a bulb or a quarter of a bulb when you can buy that. You can get them in all shops, Lidl, Aldi, Dunnes Stores, Tesco's, wherever you like. So have a look at the ingredients in here. There's going to be some sweet corn. There's going to be some peanuts. There is going to be some peppers. Now why all this combination? Because a salad, if you want to make it really gorgeous, has to have 3 or 4 different elements to it. Very tasty, a little bit of crunch, a little bit of soft squishiness in there as well, and extremely fresh. So if you can get all those type of ingredients into a salad, then you can make a wonderful salad. We've also got the dressing, a little bit of olive oil. There's a bit of soy sauce here. We're pretty much following the recipe exactly as it is from Recipes for Success. A little bit of salt and pepper. Let's talk about the salt. I'm going to use Himalayan salt just because it's pure. Now, it's really good to know that when you're using salt, if you're using the old table salt, the old Saxon table salt, it is full of chemicals, full of iodine, in order that it doesn't clump. And that's extremely unhealthy. When that goes into our blood system, very bad for high blood pressure and stuff like that. So let's just stick to the pure stuff. And I like to use that salt, a little bit of pepper. We've also got some fresh cucumber in there as well. All those ingredients will come together to make a beautiful fresh salad. So let's begin first by cooking the rice. Okay folks, let's have a look at the rice. It'll always tell you to wash your rice first. A lot of rice, depending on where it comes from, needs to be rinsed and washed because it hasn't been. So that's important because there's a bacteria on there that will cause food poisoning. It needs to be washed off as much as possible, and in order to actually kill it off as best possible as well, you always need to put rice into boiling water. So make sure that water is boiling. Now, remember I said a little bit of flavour in there, so I just like to add a stock cube, whatever choice you like, whether it be vegetable or chicken, and then simply add your rice into it there. Set your timer for 20 minutes, guys, and it's 20 minutes from when it begins to boil, not from when it comes back. Because let's look at this and let's be logical about it. The rice was really cold going into it, so it's brought that boil right back down to a medium kind of a temperature. So as soon as that starts to boil again, then time it for exactly 20 minutes. That's what it says on the packet, so that's what you do. Take care. So what we're going to do with this now, we're going to boil that, we're going to take it off after 20 minutes, we're going to cool it down, we're going to strain it off, cool it down under cold water, and then just leave it in a colander to drain. And we'll see you next. Okay, it's 20 minutes, guys. Let's have a taste. You can see it there. I'm just going to turn, you can see it's boiling vigorously. So I'm going to turn that down. We're going to grab a little bit of rice. I'm going to test it. Okay, so what are we looking for? It's got to be Not too soft, and most certainly not chewy, because nobody likes chewy rice, and that's absolutely perfect. It does what it says on the packet. It's exactly 20 minutes. So I'm going to take it from there. I'm going to bring it over to the sink. I'm going to pour it into a colander. And I'm immediately going to rinse it under cold water. Now, I don't want to take all the flavour off it, but I just want to do it quick enough so that it cools it right down. And I'm going to stick it back over the pot there. So I haven't washed it. It's cool now, or it's cooler. I haven't washed it so that all the flavour has gone off it. And I'm just going to push it out to the sides just to let the air at it. And we're going to just cool that down for 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. So that's at room temperature. And then we'll add in all the rest of the ingredients. Next. Okay, step 2, after your rice is cooked, guys, we're going to add the sweet corn. Now listen, sweet corn is quite obviously frozen most of the time, so I'm going to use frozen because that's what we're going to generally be using. So we're going to take our sweet corn, and you'll see it's frozen, a little bit of butter, melt it in the pan, and we'll just all into there, give it a little roll around. And what that's going to do, it's going to defrost it, it's going to release a load of water, so all the flavour of the sweet corn is in there with the butter. And then I'm going to add a couple more ingredients. So we're just going to have a look at, if you look at the sizzle there, and you focus in on the sizzle there, and you'll see that sizzle is all the juice that's being released because it was frozen, but all the flavour is in there as well. There we go. Give it about a minute. Now what happens with butter is it tends to go a little bit caramelized. So just before that happens, we're going to add in the crunchy part with the salad, which is the peanuts. Shake them around a little bit and just leave them there for a second. Okay, so you see the way the peanuts are beginning to go a little bit brown as well, and that's just going to bring out a really, really strong aroma. And then I'm going to cheat here, I know it wasn't in the recipe, but I'm going to sprinkle in a couple of these frozen chilies, okay, that I got from Dunnes Stores as well, because I don't like chopping chilies. Makes a mess, and you only use one, and you have to buy them in loads of different packets. And I'm going to add a little bit of chopped coriander in there as well. You can use parsley, you can use whatever herbs really are in your garden, or whichever you prefer really. I'm going to toss them around there. And that's it, guys. Okay, you can see all the flavour there. So let's take it over to the table and add all the rest of the ingredients. Now, here we are, and here's our cooked rice now. So we want about at least twice the amount of rice than the additional flavours in there. So let's just pour it all in there. And I know this is generally a cold salad, but in order to maximise all the flavour there, guys, what we're going to do is, I like to do it while it's in the warm pan, because it takes up all that aroma. Shake it around there. And now all the rice is absorbing all the flavour of the chili, the coriander, the peanut. Okay. And we're going to add in some of the rest of the ingredients that are already cut. So I've got some fresh, lovely fresh cucumber here. Okay. Let's put a bit more of that in, because I've got a bit more here to cut. I don't bother taking the seeds out, no need, it's beautiful and fresh. And I've got some diced pepper here as well. Lovely. clean that out. Now I tend to like onion, the flavour of onion, but I don't like diced onions in my salad. But I do like chive, which is it's in general it's a family of the onion. So here's some chives we just got from the garden. And that's just going to add a beautiful colour as well, a magic flavour. Put it under there and just sweep it off. Now, what's next? Let's have a look in here. I've done an example here. These are sultanas, okay? These are the dried sultanas you get, and these are the exact same sultanas that I've rehydrated. So if you're ever using sultanas, to be honest with you, I do not like sultanas that are dried. They taste a little bit tough, a little bit hard, and a little bit too chewy for my liking. So I just put a bit of boiling water in them, leave them sit for 20 minutes, and they plump up back into their grape form, so they're nice and juicy. So there's that lovely juiciness in there. And now let's mix that even further. Let's combine all those ingredients. Looking good now, eh? Fantastic. And now all we need to do is finish it with a dressing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little jug here, and I'm going to put some nice olive oil in there. And you need to put a nice bit of oil, as in a good bit of olive oil in there, because there's a lot of salad there. Now you can use whatever you like. The recipe here has soya, which is a nice combination. Not too much, okay, because soya is quite strong. Now if you wanted to squeeze a lime in there, a lemon or an orange, why not? Add that to the salad. Give that a little rummage around there to make sure it's all taking up that lovely little soya sauce flavour in there as well. And then last but not least, we're going to check for the taste. And man, you know, that's quite good as it is. There's a lot of rice in there, so let's just bring out the rest of the flavours using a little bit of this salt. 3 little twists, and let's give it a little kick as well. Some pepper. Final little stir using a spoon that you haven't tasted with. And I think you'll agree that looks pretty good. Now, why do we choose, or why did I choose rice salad? Because rice is fantastic for carbohydrates, which is what the players need. Continuously. So you can either give them boiled rice, or you can make something a little bit more exciting with them here. And this can be any of the players, whether it be moms, dads, brothers, sisters, players. But this salad, when you know you have it in the fridge and you know it's ready to come back to, it's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so that's salad number 1. Et voila. And now we have the second recipe from the book here. So Recipe for Success, page 30. This is the feta, broccoli and tomato salad. Sounds very plain, but absolutely delicious because of the other little ingredients that are in it. So let's focus down here and have a look what we have. Here's the broccoli. Now notice what I've done with the broccoli. I've actually cut it into very small little florets. Okay, and the smaller you have them, the better, because the more of all ingredient, of every ingredient that you get on one spoon before you put it in your mouth, the better. So you don't want huge big chunks of broccoli. So nice little florets of broccoli there. I've got cherry tomatoes that I've cut into 6. We've got feta cheese diced. And this is the maker of the dish for me is hazelnuts, okay, roasted hazelnuts. You can get them in Lidl, Aldi, anywhere at all. And then the dressing itself, okay. Some people prefer, listen, it's going to be olive oil or it's going to be some kind of dressing. You can use a French dressing if you like. I love balsamic myself as well, so you can use a combination of oil and balsamic, or just use the French dressing that's pre-made already. And that's pretty much it. I'll always add a couple of little things like chopped chives and stuff like that, just for my own preference. So let's get cracking on this. Where do we start? There's only one thing, actually 2 things that have to be cooked. We want to take the hazelnuts, and I'll just ask you, roast them in the oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees, and they go beautiful golden brown, but they give off, wow, an amazing flavour of it. And then just crumble them down to get them to this here. So you've crumbled, toasted hazelnuts. Now that goes really well across all the salad. It's just an amazing combination with the feta cheese and the broccoli itself. And the broccoli itself has to be cooked. Now, here's the thing about the broccoli. It's a kind of a love-hate relationship with a lot of us. But the broccoli, if it's cooked nicely, will taste nice. What do I mean by nicely? If these florets are overcooked and soft and soggy, not nice, okay? So we're going to give them exactly 90 seconds, okay? That's 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds, and absolutely no more. And that is the key to getting this salad right. 90 seconds, so they're still crunchy, but we want it to go from that colored green to a really vibrant green. And the only way we can do that is to get it into boiling water, 90 seconds, take it out and immerse it in cold water and run it in cold water till it actually almost freezes it again into that state. If you just take it out of the pot after 90 seconds and leave it on the side, it's actually going to continue to cook inside and go soggy and probably turn brown. So let's get on to stage 1, cooking the broccoli. So what I like to do is get my pan nice and hot first, have the kettle already boiled, and then when you pour both together, you've got instant boiling water. And that's all we need. We don't need too much water. Okay, so in with our broccoli. Make sure it's all sitting in the water. And I've got a lid on it. Now, if you don't have a lid, and your broccoli is sitting on top of the water, it's going to take 2 or 3 times longer, because clearly all the air and the circulation on top won't make it as hot. What happens here is, in about 30 seconds, you're going to see all the steam under the rise. It's going to hit the top of the lid and bounce back down on top of the broccoli. So there we have it. Now let's wait for it to boil. It's just about to boil again, and it's like the rice. Wait till it boils, and then it's 90 seconds. Okay. So now you can see it's beginning to boil. That's exactly where we want it to be. Count 90 seconds from there, and as soon as it gets there, we're going to take it off. We're going to strain off the boiling water, and we're going to drop it straight into really cold water. 90 seconds is up. We're going to take it straight off because we don't want to cook anymore. Empty it into the colander. And then we're going to, so what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of all the boiling water, so we're not adding the boiling water. And what I've got in here is fresh, really chilled cold water. And I'm going to drop the broccoli into that to make sure it refreshes straight away, instantly. Get all the heat out of it, chill it right down so that you have that beautiful crunch. And if you just have a look here, close in, you'll see that the colour of the broccoli is already extremely vibrant green, and that's what we want, but we also want the crunchy. On to the next stage. Here we go. Beautiful, fresh, crispy, really bright, vibrant green broccoli. Okay, so we've got that there. And then we're going to add in the remainder of the ingredients, which are the tomatoes. Just to show you, we're going to take cherry tomatoes here, hold it like a bridge, put your knife in the middle and just cut down there. And instead of doing it in half again, do it in 3, because remember what we said, if we can get as many pieces of all the ingredients on one spoon when we actually take it, or fork, then it's going to taste a lot better. So if you have a couple of pieces of tomato, broccoli, feta, hazelnut, all together in the same spoonful, it's going to taste a lot better. So I'll cut them in threes. Okay, I'm going to add them into the bowl. Give them a gentle stir. Just combine that there. And believe it or not, the feta cheese has naturally it's very, very salty because of the brine that it's in. So we're not going to add too much salt to this recipe. What I would do is make sure and always put the feta in last. So I'm telling you about this just before we put in the rest of the ingredients, because the feta is really, really crumbly. It falls apart and it can tend to look a little bit messy unless you put it in at the very end. So I'm going to take the hazelnuts, the toasted hazelnuts here, and you can just use anything you like just to bash them down. And the more you bash them down, the more flavour you're going to get out of them. And this is actually the integral part of the dressing. Pop that up there. So we're going to put our olive oil in there. And again, listen, it's your choice. I like balsamic vinegar. You can use the French dressing, whichever is your favourite. If you're going to use balsamic vinegar, I'm not specifying a certain one, but the cheaper the vinegar, the nastier the taste. That's all I'll say. And there's a reason for expensive vinegar, because it's aged a little bit longer and it's much, much sweeter. So I'm going to put some balsamic vinegar in there. Enough to flavor. Now make sure you put enough there to flavour all the ingredients that are in there. So you need to coat the broccoli. So there you go. Put about 3/4 of it there. You can add a little bit more later. And all I want to do is run that around so you get the toasted hazelnuts in on top of the broccoli, because that combination is really, really good. You've got the tomatoes, which are nice and tarty. I'm going to put a nice crack of pepper in there. Give it another little stir. If you need an extra twist of pepper in there, by all means, go for it if that's what you like. And then remember what we said, the final ingredient will be the feta cheese. Now I'm actually not going to roll it into this bowl. What I do is I tend to find the final bowl that I have with all the ingredients. Make it look quite nice, get a nice bit of green, a nice bit of red there. And rather than rolling the feta cheese within the bowl there, which would look quite messy, you can actually rather place the feta cheese on top there. Because if we remember what we said, if we were to roll it around, you're going to end up with just thousands of little white flecks, and it's going to destroy the presentation on you. So, feta cheese, beautiful. Okay, and remember, that's what we're going to use instead of using the salt. By all means, if you need to have a bit more salt and you think you don't have enough, and then I'm just going to coat the feta as well with the nuts. And trust me, that is fantastic to eat. Salad number 2 for the Naomh Mairtin feast. Okay, and the pièce de résistance is about to come up. So what do we serve with these? We are going to do the Champions Burger. Naomh Mairtin, senior champions, senior county champions, and this is a meal for champions, and we're going to make a double cheeseburger with a difference, and the salad will go with it. Catch you in a second. And for the pièce de résistance, we are going to make the Jocks burger. Okay, a Champions burger here. So what we're looking at Minced beef. Make sure you get a really nice minced beef. We've got ours from Raymond Lambs in Tullyallen. And what we're going to do is we're going to pack this meat full of loads of extra flavour here. So, really clean hands, wear a glove if you can, and keep the meat away from all the other ingredients. So this is why I put it in the bowl at the beginning. But just for the rest of the ingredients, just to make sure you have them. Nice burger bun, preferably brown because it's more high in fibre again, guys. And it's not just going to fill your gut full of yeast and gluten and starch. Okay, there's a little bit less of it. And that fibre is going to help go through your gut and help you, let's just say, help you out the other end a little bit better. Okay, so what else are we going to put in this burger? We need to fill it with tons of flavour. And here again, I told you before, I use the diced onions, the diced chilli, the diced garlic, because it's all there. Listen, it's so handy to use. You're not wasting half an onion or half a bulb of garlic or a whole load of chilies and leaving them to shrivel up in your fridge. These frozen ones work really, really well. So the only trick I would ask you to have a look at is you can add the flavours to the meat now, not a problem. But when it comes to onion and chili and garlic, I like to cook them first. That releases all the flavours, softens them up, and then you can add it to the meat. Makes a much nicer burger because sometimes the onions don't necessarily cook out. Not the nicest thing to have in your mouth. Some people love them, some people hate them, so just in case. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix the ingredients here first. We're going to actually mix the meat. Just get your hands in. All you're doing is loosening the meat, okay? And then we're just going to add all these flavours here. I'm going to remove that glove. And follow the recipe there. There's a recipe in the Taste for Success book there. It's very good. A little bit of mustard. Okay. That gives it a tang. Worcestershire sauce is the best for burgers. I used to usually love loads of that in there. Great for flavour. Thyme, you can use fresh thyme. Some fresh thyme in there. Now what you want to do is nice bit of thyme in there, and because that's dried, all the moisture in there is going to rehydrate it. Nice twist of salt in there, get all the flavours going. Nice twist of pepper. Pepper goes really well with the burger. And we just want to mix all that around. Okay. Leave that to sit, and we're going to form them in a minute. And I'll just go on to the rest of the ingredients that I want to show you. So we're going to cook these three here, and then we're going to bind all the ingredients with one egg. And then at the very end, we've got the extra Cajun, okay, which we're going to mix in with some mayonnaise. We're going to put that on the bun after we toast the bun. And we're going to make a double cheeseburger, but in a different format. So we're going to make the patty. We're going to make a real thick patty, and we're actually going to put a slice of mozzarella inside the burger. Rather than have two patties, we're going to make one major big one. Put some cheese. You can put some tomato in there as well if you want. Fold it over and make a nice big Champions burger, and then we're going to layer that surrounded with the bacon, and we're going to skewer it and put it in the oven. So now that we've flavoured the mince with all the mustard and the Worcestershire sauce and the salt and the pepper, we're going to add in the flavours, the other ingredients that make a burger taste really, really good. Okay, so we're going to put some onion. Like I said, frozen onion is really good. We're just going to let that settle on the pan, and it will defrost itself, and all the juices, in other words the flavours, will come out of it. We'll sprinkle some garlic in there as well, nice bit of garlic. And if you like a little kick to your burger, sure, we'll stick a bit of chilli in there as well. Why not? Okay. spread them out there. Just leave it to sit and let all the flavours just release. If you have a lid, they'll release a little bit quicker. I'll be back in 2 seconds. So all we want to happen there is just to release all the flavours, make them nice and soft, and then we're going to add that to our mince. And here we have our garlic, onion and chilli that's nicely softened, so you don't have that hard raw texture of onion in your burger when you're going for it. There we go. And I'm going to put some chopped chives in here as well, just for a little bit of extra flavour again. And sweep them all into the bowl. And then we're going to add an egg just to bind it all. At this stage, get that glove back on. Or if you've got really clean washed hands, you can do this. Just keep washing your hands after it. And we're just going to mix it all through there. And just let all that mince soak up. Have a look in there. All that flavour. The Worcester sauce, the mustard, salt, the pepper, the chilli, the garlic, the onion. And now you can start squashing it together to form patties or burgers. Okay, now we're going to make the burgers. We're going to take a nice big chunk of beef. I'm going to split it almost in half. Just make a line as if you're going to put it in half. Now listen guys, fact is, when you get those guys in off the football pitch and they're looking for burgers, they ain't looking for a single burger, they're looking for a double burger, so you might as well do one. Okay, there we have it. I'm going to put a nice bit of mozzarella in the middle of that there. Fold it over. If you'd like to put a slice of tomato or something in there, you can do that too. Fold it over, shape it. Now notice I've actually put cling film on the chopping board here. That keeps everything nice and hygienic. I'm using gloves. Realistically guys, you won't always have gloves, so just make sure your hands are clean when you're doing it, or use a fresh chopping board that you won't use for anything else. You can stick it straight back in the sink or into the dishwasher. So here we go, here's our burger. We're going to just shape it, pat it, shape it, pat it. Now, you know how thick a burger should be? Well, it really depends on what you're going to do, but if it's going to be nice and thick like this, which I want it to be, because this is a champion's burger, this is what we call the Jock's burger. Look how thick that is. So we're going to need to finish this in the oven. This ain't going to be fried on a pan or grilled under the salamander. So we need to keep that shape together. So I'm going to a nice bit of streaky bacon, not the back bacon, the streaky bacon has a nice bit of fat in it there, so it gives a little bit of, there's a little bit of give in it when it cooks, and lots of flavour in that fat that will come off it as well. So what we're going to do, I'm going to place that around there, and you can see that pretty much goes almost halfway around, and the same the other side, and you should have a crossover there. So where it crosses over, grab yourself a skewer or a toothpick even, put it in and out the other side to make sure the bacon's kept together there. One in there, and one all the way through to the other side. That way you'll be able to lift it up as well. And that's what we call a Jock's burger. Now that is amazing on a slow cooked barbecue, but slow cooked because it needs to cook all the way inside, so it can take about 20 minutes to half an hour to cook. And we're just going to repeat this process a couple of times, but I'm sure you'd agree it's beginning to look good. So the pan is just hot enough. You can see a tiny bit of smoke going off it, which is the perfect temperature. As soon as you see the smoke turn it down a little bit, place your burger in the center, and all we want to do is brown it a little bit on each side and let the oven finish the rest of it. And we're going to place it on this silicone tray here. That'll prevent any burning. Great little thing here, these silicone mats, you can place them on. They just refuse to burn, which is brilliant, and nothing sticks to them. They're a great investment. Let me just flip that upside down. Beautiful. We're going to do that with the rest of the burgers. Put them all on the tray, into the oven, 180 degrees for approximately 20 minutes, and we'll check them after 20 minutes at 180 degrees just to make sure the internal temperature is above 73 degrees. And there we have them, ready for action. Pop them into the oven and we'll catch you in approximately 20 minutes, guys. Now, the final piece of the puzzle. Here's our burgers. So let's put it together. Let's assemble the Jocks burger. Right, what we're going to do, we have 2 burger buns, lightly toasted because it's nice to have a bit of a crunch on these. I'm going to add some mayonnaise to that. I'm going to flavour that mayonnaise with some Cajun spice, which gives a beautiful little tangy kick to it. Just roll that round there. Just going to put a little dab on the bottoms and the tops. Just roll that around there, and I use that like the glue for the lettuce. Beautiful. I like Cajun, so I'm going to put a bit more on that. Okay, and grab yourself a selection of lettuce. And what I like to do here is I like to have it sticking out the edges. That way everybody can see when they're about to have the burger exactly what it is inside. Gives it a lovely style presentation as well. So just have it poking outside there. If you like tomato, put it on there. I put 1, 2, 3, just make sure it's sticking out the sides as well so they can see that. So you can see the lovely green of the lettuce. I've got a nice little bit of rocket in there, a little bit of spinach. And we take our burgers, we remove the sticks. Lift our burger on there. Wow, it's fabulous, and you'll see the mozzarella just oozing inside there. Just slide that out like that. Beautiful. And if you want to stick a little bit more lettuce on there, you can. Just make sure it sticks. Turn it upside down. If you wanted to put more cheese on, you could do, but there is cheese inside. Remember that mozzarella, you can see the mozzarella oozing out there. If you want to put a bit more tomato in there as well. Hello. Let's finish off that. Oh man alive. I've got a little skewer just to keep them together. That, folks, is what we call a Jocks burger. Fit for champions, without County Senior Champions, Naomh Mairtin, GFC. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. This is the GAA Healthy Club's initiative for Munster Boys Naomh Mairtin Club. Give it a try. Hope you agree. It certainly looks tasty. Try it out. Give it a go. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.